Which brings us then to our specific marketing tips. So I kind of wanted to break this into 3 sections, which I mentioned earlier: your cold list, your warm list, and your hot list. And just so everyone's on the same page, what do I mean by those? In marketing terms, a person that comes to you, a prospect, could either be hot, warm, or cold. If they're a cold list or a cold prospect, that's somebody who, in my definition of it anyway, has not heard of you before, hasn't talked to you before, hasn't seen any of your marketing, or if they have, they've never let you know that they're interested in what it is you do. Okay, so it's cold. They're cold. Doesn't mean anything about their personality. Okay, it's just they're cold because we don't know anything about them, and they don't really know anything about us yet. Okay, a warm list is somebody who has responded in some way to something that you've said before. They responded by emailing you from your website and requesting some information, but they never hired you. So they're warm if they have responded to something you've done. They've in essence raised their hand and said, I'm interested in what you have to say or what it is that you do, but they've never actually hired you. So that's a warm list. A hot list is, you guessed it probably, somebody who has been photographed by you before, or what we call a VIP, a very important patron. Somebody that you have worked with, which is your, hands down of these 3, okay, the most valuable list that you have, no matter how small that list may be, is your hot list, your VIPs, because you've already done 95% of the challenging work, which is you've gotten them to hire you, to pay money for what you do, and they love what you did.
Yep.
And that is priceless. Okay, so we're going to talk in all 3 of those areas today on your marketing. We've got to move pretty fast because I know we've got a lot to cover here. Let's start with the cold list. So we're going to go kind of in reverse order, because in reality, if we were going by what you should do first, I would start with the hot. Start with your VIPs. Get in contact with them. But I want to start with cold because I think a lot of photographers mistakenly think, well, I don't have enough VIPs, so I need to know how to bring in new blood, bring in new blood, bring in new blood. So I'm going to appease people that might be thinking that incorrectly by starting with the new blood, the cold list, okay? But really, your VIPs, even if you only have 5 of them, if you only have 10 of them, if you got 100 of them, you're gold. If you got 500 of them, you never have to bring in a new client again, potentially, all right? But let's start with the cold list. So first off, when reaching any of these lists, we have to talk about doing Facebook. Certainly for cold lists, this is great when you do boosted posts, because technically if they're a cold list, they probably haven't even liked you on Facebook yet. Although I would consider somebody maybe who's following your page or liked your page, I'd still kind of consider them cold because they only took a tiny minuscule action, which was to like your page or follow you, right? I'd like them to take a little bit more of an action before they get bumped up into the warm list. So Tom, let's talk a little bit first of all about what to be doing on Facebook. What's maybe a key point in your Facebook marketing to bring cold, people in that don't already know who you are?
Yeah, a real good example of that is back November 6th, the state mandates tightened up really tightly in our state, where we were suddenly told you can't photograph anybody inside. Nobody can take their masks off at any distance. Sorry, you can't do photography in a studio or in a home. I worked for several weeks with the state trying to figure out a way around that. And finally, they gave me special dispensation explaining how I could do that and still photograph people. So I went boom. And so that day, I instantly started marketing on Facebook again. Hey, we can now take you in. So my point there is that Facebook is so immediate. It's not a direct mail, other things that are effective but less timely, that I can instantly say great news. And I did this both in a Facebook Live. I went on Facebook Live and which is recorded, and you can post it so that even though if people didn't catch it when I was live, they could see it later. And it gets hundreds of views, and it says, hey, guess what? Great news. We figured out with the state how to do this safely and effectively within the mandates to photograph you and your family. I had people call, oh, hey, we were waiting to hear about this. So keep aware of what's going on and then use Facebook to post it instantly. We're open, we're ready, and when you call us, we'll talk about everything you need to know to be safe and happy and look great, and we'll just do a great job for you, but you can feel comfortable about it. So that's a great, effective tool.
It sure is. And again, that immediacy. And now I got to point out, Tom, I didn't even realize that you went through all of that with the state. And did you hear what Tom did? He contacted the state to ask them, is there anything we can do about this? Now, would anyone else have taken the initiative to do that? If you're listening to this, would you have taken initiative to do that? Most people would say, absolutely, I wouldn't. But that is how proactive Tom is. He wasn't saying, let me break the rules. He was saying, what can we do? Is there anything that can be done? And here's what I've been doing. And is there any way that this can fit into what you and the CDC and WHO and everybody are saying about what we should be doing right now? And he was given the okay to do this. That's immense, Tom.
You know, it's funny, Todd, if I can make a quick point of this. They had not found a category because they didn't think of portrait studios because there aren't that many around that are full-time people, which is great. So they had us in hair and nail salon category services. Oh. But of course, they can keep their masks on, getting their hairs and nails done. So the lady started laughing. She goes, yeah, I guess you're right. They can't wear their mask while they're being photographed. I said, you got it. And she goes, you're the first person to bring this up to us. So they actually changed it because I had called, and it didn't, letters and emails, I kept getting standard stuff back. I finally had to keep calling till I got the right office, got the right person. She was very helpful. And that phone call did it. Once she heard my voice, don't we talk about this a lot? She heard I was sincere. I wasn't complaining. Yep. I was genuinely trying to keep my clients safe and comply, but also stay in business.
Right. Because how many calls are they getting on a daily basis of people reaming them out and yelling at them and screaming?
Yeah, she was laughing. We had a great time. She thanked me and said it was great. Followed up with the email. Very pleasant to talk to you. So it was good.
That's great. So next up, so be proactive. So next couple of really quick key points, and then we're going to move on here, is that to make sure that you're posting weekly, sometimes even daily, with updates on the latest mandates and the state recommendations and things like that. Let your clients know on Facebook that you are in contact, that you're paying attention, that you're watching what's going on, because safety comes first. And like Tom said, maybe do some Facebook Live stuff. That's really huge and can reach people that wouldn't normally see you. And then also be sure you're posting daily and being positive. Be positive in the posting that you're doing, even the posts that are not designed to get people to pick up the phone and call you, that are just so that you are a positive influence. Those of you that have been with us for a while have heard us say this. It's so important. It bears repeating here, that you've got to stay positive, because people are being deluged with a lot of negativity in the news, in the media, and certainly in social media. And then make sure that you are on a regular basis getting them to pick up the phone and call you. Make sure that you are being proactive with your calls to action. The next step in this whole system for cold lists, again, is auctions and charities. And Dad, Tom, I'm going to turn it over to the two of you to talk about this one. Because this is huge, and don't make the mistake of thinking that auctions and charities have also closed down their doors. They may not be able to do a lot of the things they used to do. They may think that they can't do anything, but the truth of the matter is they need money more now than they have ever. Dad?
Yeah, so the main thing here is that they may have to do something virtually. And, you see this all the time now. So they may not be able to get everybody together in a big room and have a big live auction that way, but there are things to do. And now is the time to contact them, be proactive, and say, I'm very interested in your charity. I really want to be involved with you. What can we do now to get things doing? What have you got coming up? And Tom, you're the auction and charity expert here, so I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, right now, high schools, and I'm not sure if this is nationwide, but they have around here what's called Project Graduation, which is a way the class that's graduating raises money so they can have a safe, private party, hire a DJ, have food, instead of people going out maybe in an automobile accident or drinking. It's supervised. It's just a fun party, and they have awards. It's really been done for years now in our area. So for their fundraiser, I always give 10 buy it now or buy it today gift certificates. And it's virtual right now, but they work very well. Whereas if I donated one item for a live auction, which they don't go very well by Zoom, it's kind of hard and people don't understand what's going on. The buy it now ones are laid out there and thousands of people see them because they're all looking at them. So I've already got 6 just from a recent event. 6 high school seniors, the parents invested in these, gave their donation, the school raised $600, and they called and we're setting up all the necessary meetings and so forth so that they can be photographed later in the summer or fall. There's 6 already booked from one school. So they are working right now, but the buy it now for me are what you should do right now if you're doing virtual, and that would be for anything, families, high school seniors, and so forth.
And for any charities or auctions, they'll all, because again, these are things that that they're looking for this stuff. They need you right now, and this is this is a win-win for everyone. That's why auctions and charities in non-COVID times is a huge thing, but especially right now, they need you, and you may even be able to suggest something to them they hadn't thought of. So don't think that any charity or a cause that you believe in your community is off limits here. And the high school thing is great. Whether they call it Project Graduation or not, I think every high school, to some degree, does something like what Tom's talking about. At least I'm pretty sure 90% of them will. So you reach out to them and let them know, hey, I'd like to contribute this so that you can raise money to do this because I believe in you keeping the kids safe and doing this however you have to do it, including with COVID going on. What can I do to help? I've got these 10 certificates. Let me help you get those out there. And you get 2 wonderful things out of that. You get the marketing from it because, like Tom said, thousands of people may see these. And now they're being reminded of who you are and that you back the school and that you're, and that you are out there. But then also you're going to have people who will invest in them. And then when they actually view the beautiful images you create for them, are going to invest in far more than even what that gift certificate was for. So you win in so many different ways. So make sure you're doing that.
And another key here to this whole thing is that you've got to realize that there are people out there that really want to have their photographs taken. So you have to become proactive. You have to pick up the telephone, call these people, call the auctions and charities. You've got to take action now. You can't just sit back like Todd has said so often today, but it's such an important point.
Right.
Because I know you might be a little discouraged, and we're here to help you. We're here to help you get excited about the fact that you can earn a great living doing what you love to do, and you can do it now. You don't have to wait until COVID is in the rearview mirror, which could be months and months. We don't know yet for sure. So it's key. Now, the next thing on a cold list is exhibits. And I mean, I can't not talk about exhibits. Exhibits were the key to me. Of the top 2 or 3 things on my list of the huge things that changed my photography career forever, exhibits is right at the very top.
And Dad, before you jump into the first key point of that, can you just let anyone know what you mean specifically by an exhibit?
Exhibits are anything out in your community, in a restaurant, which is a little challenging right now, but it'll start getting better. But in malls, hair salons, nail salons, any place your target market goes, you have an exhibit, examples, a display of examples of your work. And a way to contact you. We recommend using a lift card, a card that has got special stuff on it that they lift it off of the exhibit and take it home and contact you. And it's a huge thing. For me, it was the mall. I mean, if you happen to live in a community that has an indoor mall, okay, it's an enclosed mall. Now is gold time. Gold. Big point. Malls have problems right now. Some real estate people, what do you call that one? Let me just think a minute here on this.
Realtors?
No, the retail. I just never use that word, retail. But the retailers are having a real problem right now, and some of them are having to leave the malls. So malls have empty stores, and they've got issues and problems. It's no joke. It's a big issue right now with this COVID thing. So what you want to do is to go see the mall manager, not the mall. Well, actually, what I would recommend is even better than the mall manager is the mall promotions director.
Right.
But I'll take the manager if that's all you can get to, and talk about how you can take that empty store and just make it look gorgeous, just gorgeous with photographs just all along the windows. Go ahead,
and
Todd.
Sadly, we don't have time to go into all the details of it here. There's programs on the Online Vault that'll walk you through exactly how it is. I'm just watching the time. We got a whole bunch more to cover here yet. But the key here is to go after these exhibits, and we're talking about doing free exhibits. That's important. These are not exhibits that you pay for, okay? You do have to pay for the exhibit themselves, but you're not paying the location, and you'll be And right now, people are going to want this more than ever. Local businesses are going to need you now more than ever, especially as they're getting more and more opened up around the community. They need to spread the word about what they do. And you're going to help them by going back to your studio after you've put up this beautiful display of your clients in their establishment. And you're going to contact those clients and let them know that their photograph is displayed in this spot in the community and that they should get down there and tell all their friends to get down there and take a look at it. And that's what the establishments in your areas want. Tom?
Yeah, and also one of the things that happened with us back in March when restaurants were forced to close for a while and then slowly come back to curbside and delivery, and then now we're lifted a little bit so that they're limited seating inside. Well, you know, I kind of lost out of sight, out of mind. I was struggling with my own stuff. I thought, how are my displays doing? Are they even up in the restaurants and some of the other smaller stores? So I started visiting the ones that are open. And one had built a beautiful new building, and they were just, it was a Italian restaurant that we get pizza from. It's takeout, but also sit down. Been there for years, and they were closed, and they had just built this, and then they had to close down. It's opened back up. They were faithful, kept my portraits right there, dusted, and I said, I got some new ones for you, and so we're doing a change out. But they were glad to hear from me because they said, well, we were hoping you're okay too. So people are coming back in. We're getting calls from lift cards, so it does work. So just check wherever your displays and exhibits have been, see how they're doing. I should have been more proactive doing that during the shutdown, to be honest with you. That's an area that was kind of weak. I should have been calling them and saying, we care about you. How are you doing? But I have done that since, and we know where everybody's at. So keep after those folks, but also keep going after new ones.
And the key is to be doing that right now, because now as people are thinking about opening back up, this is when they know they're going to need this. So get in contact.
And you'll help them
move on to warm lists. Let's talk about, sorry, what was that, Tom?
I just say, and again, the benefit is there to them. You'll let people know, hey, even though it's limited seating, your portraits are up in there. Go on in, get takeout, or go in and have a seat, and you'll see yourself in there.